G'day folks, Wren here, and let's talk some queer 2024 releases. Okay, so in all honesty, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna have to turn on my fan. It is warm. I just decided that I'm gonna make a list of all of the 2024 releases that are queer that I'm interested in as of filming. Let's put it like that, because there are still so many releases that are like being announced. I've even had to like step away from like Instagram and all of that for the past like week, because I'm like, there's just so many more coming in, and we already have over 50 books. I'm like, I don't have the energy to talk about any more than that. I don't have the energy to talk about 50, and I'm gonna have to. So these are definitely not all of the queer releases that are coming out in 2024. Obviously, every single one of these books is going to be queer, and they do range in genre and age. So we have middle grade, adult, young adult, I think we have some horror, we have romance, contemporary, poetry, we have everything. I'm just going to be ordering these by the month. So I'll talk about all the January books, then February, then March, etc. You get what I'm saying. But I'm not going to organize them any more than that. Like, if there are specific dates, I'm not doing it. I'm really not doing it. You're getting the month, and that's it. We will start with the January releases. First up, A Barn Me for Two by Trinity Nguyen. First of all, this cover is adorable. Oh my gosh, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So this is a YA contemporary romance, and it's sapphic. So we have a Vietnamese American student. Oh wow, okay, so this teenager fakes a study abroad for some reason, and then meets a girl that she likes, and things happen. I'm not really sure, but it sounds really cute. It's very much a foodie romance, and I would like to get into more foodie romances. Next up, we have All the Violet Tiaras, Queering the Greek Myths by Jean Menzies. So this is a queer poetry collection by a booktuber that I really enjoy. I've always enjoyed Jean's videos, and also like her aesthetic, on point. I am yet to read her debut novel. I own it. I really want to read it in 2024, so I need to get to that, and then I'll get to this poetry book. Again, cover, stunning, I love it. So it says, All These Violet Tiaras navigates queer reimaginings, exploration of gender, and more. So all within antiquity and kind of reimagining those things. Why do I think this is poetry? I think it's poetry because of the cover. Like, that screams a poetry collection, right? It might not be poetry, but it is non-fiction. Next up, we have Evergreen by Devin Greenlee. Again, cover. The covers are going really well in 2024, let me tell you that. So this is another young adult fantasy-esque, but the thing that really drew me to this is obviously, queer, but it's a Secret Garden retelling. I'm so excited. The Secret Garden, while I know the movie is incredibly different from the book, that movie, my childhood, basically. So the fact that there is a queer retelling of it, I don't know if it's the movie, but there's at least a queer retelling. It's everything. I want to read it, obviously. Also, one of the main characters is a dryad. I definitely don't read enough books about dryads, which are like tree spirits, tree creatures, one with the forest. So this is going to be really interesting, and ooh, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Here's the thing, I wish that I could get away from like just the YA books, but then they bring out books like this. I'm like, how am I supposed to like just read adult books when you keep bringing out bangers like this? Next up is a manga, which is My Cute Little Kitten Volume 2 by Milk Moringa. Now, I recently read My Cute Little Kitten Volume 1, and it was very sweet. It was about these two female friends that they live together, and one of them brings home a cat, but their apartment is not pet friendly, so they talk about maybe they should stop being roommates and, live in other places. But then they're like, no, we can't live without each other, and they enter into a relationship. and then they're trying to also care for this cat. It was very, very sweet. I really enjoyed it, so very much looking forward to Volume 2. Next up is Build a Girlfriend by Elba Luz. Pitched as a reverse How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Interesting. That was a good movie back in the day. It is YA, and it says 18-year-old Amelia is said to be cursed, like all the women in her family, to never keep a partner. Interesting. So instead of how to lose a guy, it's how to keep a girl, without that sounding weird. Next up is The Curse of Eelgrass Bog by Mary Aveling, but this is a middle grade horror. I love horror. So the tagline is dark secrets and unnatural magic abound when a 12-year-old girl ventures into a bog full of monsters and breaks a mysterious curse. That sounds great. Oh my god, her best friend is a talking demon's head in a jar named Shrunken Jim. That sounds amazing. Amazing. Next is Compound Fracture by Andrew Joseph White. I don't really know what this is about, but I thoroughly enjoyed Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. So Compound Fracture will be his third book, I believe. And I mean, I'm just so excited. In his books, I think what we typically get is a trans main character and autism rep. So I'm very much here for both of those things. Next up, we have My Fair Brady by Brian D. Kennedy. This is, again, YA, and it's contemporary, and this is one of my favorite kind of, like, subgenres, which is, like, theatre queers. I love theatre things, and especially if they're queer, I mean, obviously. So this is My Fair Lady meets She's All That. Interesting combination. Does sound like it is kind of leaning into some typical YA tropes, but sometimes those work. Then we have The Fake Dating Game by Timothy Janoski. So this is an adult, and it's a reality dating show. So this guy applies to go on this TV show and he gets dumped. And I believe that he has to be in a relationship to be on this show for some reason. So he asks the concierge at his hotel to be his fake boyfriend. Sounds great to me. I love fake dating, so this is going to be a great time for me. Then we have Lucy Uncensored by Mel Hammond and Tegan Hammond. It is a YA, and we have a transgender main character and their cis best friend, and they are both theatre nerds, which you know I love, and they're applying to be in the same drama course at university. Except now that's saying it's coming out in fall 2024, but for some reason I had it in January. I don't know. Then we have Homebody by Theo Parrish, and this is a YA graphic novel, potentially a graphic memoir though. I love just the first little line of the synopsis. It's, "Hello, I'm Theo. I like cats and Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm trans and non-binary." Love that. Okay, so this says, in their debut graphic novel Homebody, author and illustrator Theo Parrish takes readers through a beautifully heart-lifting story of discovering what it means to live life on your own terms and what it means to feel at home in the world. That sounds very sweet. Then we have So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. So this is a young adult fantasy, whip-smart and immersive. This Jamaican-inspired fantasy follows a God's-blessed heroine who's forced to choose between saving her sister or protecting her homeland. Ooh. Perfect for fans of Iron Widow and Priory of the Orange Tree. I've read Iron Widow, loved it. Haven't read Priory of the Orange Tree yet because it's this big. But Jamaican-inspired fantasy sounds amazing. Next up, we have Fallen Thorns by Harvey Oliver Baxter. The cover. This is a adult fantasy, and apparently there's vampires. In the space of a night, Arlo is plunged into a world of blood and immortality, and finds a group of people who swear to always have his back. Dying is never easy, but they promise him eternal safety. Interesting. So that is all of the January releases. Now on to February. So first we have What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, which is the second in the... does it have a series name? Sworn Soldier series. Interesting. So the first one was What Moves the Dead, which one of my new all-time favorites. And in this, we're following a non-binary main character and their horse. I love the horse. I am scared because the cover of this one has a dead horse. If T. Kingfisher kills that horse, I'm gonna be mad. These are horrors. Oh, the writing of What Moves the Dead. It was like hauntingly beautiful at its finest. So I'm really looking forward to what this next one has to offer. And I just want to know what our main character is doing, because they were a good time. Next we have Live For You, Die With You by Caleb Daniel. This is a young adult book, potentially paranormal-esque. It says, for fans of The First to Die at the End and Under the Whispering Door, I'm definitely a fan of both of those. Ooh, okay, so it says this is an upper YA queer urban fantasy about heaven and hell, a second chance at life, first love, and family. This sounds funny. When this teenager dies on his 19th birthday, he finds out he doesn't have enough life points to get into heaven. That sounds so funny. It's like as if life was a video game, and I like that. That sounds fun. And his guardian angel has to help him get those life points to get into heaven. And I think the angel ends up falling in love with him. Love that. Love that. Next up we have The Diablo Curse by Gabe Cole Novoa. This is a YA fantasy. It's a high-stakes race to defeat a curse. Okay, it's about a teen demon who wants to be human, a boy cursed to die young, and the murderous island that's going to take them both. Could be good. I've never read anything about like a teenage demon before, so that is also very interesting. Then we have Daniel Deconstructed by James Ramos. This is again another YA contemporary. So this is a book that is an ode to movie tropes, which sounds very, very cute. Photographer and film buff Daniel Sanchez learned a long time ago that the only way to get by in an allistic world is to mask his autism and follow the script. Hi, I want to read that so badly. Like, I mean, you give me any book that's about, like, being queer and being autistic, my entire personality. I want to read it. We also have a non-binary love interest. Then we have How the Boogeyman Became a Poet by Tony Keith. So this is a YA memoir in verse. I've never heard this before, but a poet, writer, and hip-hop educator. A hip-hop educator. Never heard that term before. That's fun. This is about Tony's experience being a closeted gay black teenager fighting poverty and racism and homophobia. So it sounds like it'll be really hard-hitting, but also sounds great. And that was all for February, so now we move on to March. First up, we have The Boyfriend Subscription by Stephen Salvatore. So this is a queer Pretty Woman retelling. So that sounds good. So it's basically just this guy's life falls apart and he needs a fake boyfriend to help restore his image. And he hires this sex worker through an app and they get very close, with the two conditions of no kissing and no falling in love. So very Pretty Woman. Next we have The Woods All Black by Lee Mandelo. So this is a adult horror novella, but the tagline for this is really good. The Woods All Black is equal parts historical horror, trans romance, and blood-soaked revenge, all set in 1920s Appalachia. So good. I love things set in the Appalachia because, like, it's scary. I love it. 1920s, my favorite time period to read from, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Then we have Song of the Huntress by Lucy Holland. So this is a historical fantasy, and it is adult, which is always good, and it's a mythology retelling, which I am very much excited for this one, because the Song of the Huntress recasts the folklore behind the Wild Hunt into a dark feminist fantasy set amidst the legend and beauty of ancient Britain, specifically 60 AD Britain. The Wild Hunt, I love. Oh, I love it so much. So I am really, really looking forward to this one. This is definitely the type of mythology retelling that I enjoy. Next we have Dead Girls Walking by Sammy Ellis. So this is a YA horror slasher. That could be interesting. So it's about a girl searching for her dead mother's body at a summer camp that was once her serial killer father's home. What? Perfect for fans of Friday the 13th and White Smoke. Friday the 13th, I love. So much fun. White Smoke, I didn't love. Serial killer father, yes please. Then we have Icarus by Kay Ancrum. I am looking forward to more Kay Ancrum. I've only read one, shamefully, but I really, really want to get into more Kay Ancrum because The Weight of the Stars, brilliant. Brilliant. So this is a YA queer retelling. So it says Kay Ancrum reimagines the tale of Icarus as a star-crossed love story between a young art thief and the son of the man he's been stealing from. That's a good dynamic. That is a very good dynamic. Next up we have Ariel Crashes a Train by Olivia A. Cole. This is a YA contemporary, and this could definitely be very hard-hitting because it explores the harsh reality of living with OCD and all of the very violent and intrusive thoughts that come along with that. So this could be intense. It's also a novel in verse, which, you know, I love. So this could be intense, but good. Then we have Rainbow Black by Maggie Thrash. This is a adult mystery thriller. It says it's part murder mystery, part gay international love story, set against the 1990s satanic panic. Yeah. The Satanic Panic. I'm very much looking forward to that. So that was all for March, and now we're into April. So we have Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. So this is a adult fantasy, and it says discover this creepy, charming, monster slaying fantasy romance. I love some monster slaying, I really do. But it's from the perspective of the monster. Does that not sound amazing? So this monster is a shapeshifter who happily resides as an amorphous lump at the bottom of a ruined manor. She's a lump. That sounds really good. Then we have Otherworldly by F.T. Lukens. F.T. Lukens has some great book covers. So this is a YA paranormal. The first line of this was everything. It says, a skeptic and a supernatural being make a deal at a crossroads. What more do I want? Nothing. Sounds great. Ooh, this young adult romantic adventure. That sounds fun. I also think our main character is non-binary because they're using they, them pronouns. Love it. Then we have The Breakup List by Adib Khorram. I love Adib Khorram because he wrote one of my favorite comfort reads ever, which is Darius the Great Is Not Okay, and I'll read anything he brings out. This is a YA contemporary romance, and it has the theatre queers, because I have a type. So our main character is a techie, a stage manager, a lighting guy, a jack of all theatrical trades. That's funny. But the thing I can come to expect from Adib Khorram is lovable characters that feel very, very real, potentially some mental health concerns, not sure. Also, BIPOC main characters. I'm very much looking forward to this because it's just about this guy falling in love. I mean, I don't need to know anything about it for me to want to read it because it's a deep quorum. Next we have Dear Wendy by Anne Zhao, and this is a YA contemporary. I love this cover. This cover's very cute. But these two girls in college who are both aromantic and asexual, I love that so much. But they meet online, and then their online personas are kind of battling. And then they meet in real life, not knowing about their online personas, and they become friends in real life. I'm not the hugest fan of that whole, I don't know what the particular trope is, but when they meet online or over the phone, and then they meet in real life and a different kind of chemistry. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I am a fan of aromantic and asexual representation, so I'll read it. Then we have Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. I really like this cover too, this is very sweet. So this is a adult contemporary romance, and it is a sapphic opposites attract, so that could be fun. And apparently it's about this woman that won the lottery, and now people are just wanting her for her money. So she moves to a farm to isolate people, but then there happens to be a very attractive young woman there that she falls for. So that could be very fun and sounds very sweet as well. Then we have one I am definitely very excited for, and that is Off With Their Heads by Zoe Hana Mikuta. So this is a YA fantasy, and it's obviously a Alice in Wonderland retelling, but this is going to be a Korean-inspired Alice in Wonderland retelling, which is awesome. Very much looking forward to that. Ooh, and it's about two very wicked girls, forever bonded by blood and betrayal. Sounds fun. So in a world where saints are monsters and Wonderland is the dark forest where they lurk. Oh, so I think both our main characters are witches that were punished for something they might have done, and as the punishment they were told to go into Wonderland where all of these like monsters lurk. That's cool. Then we have All Things Seen and Unseen by R.J. McDaniel. So this is an adult horror. Love that. So after this person has been through some really hard times, they get a job as a like in-home nurse on a remote island. So they have to go there for the job, and then, you know, with nothing around really, they have to deal with their own demons and potentially some other stuff that's happening outside of that. I don't know. Could be interesting. So then we have To a Darker Shore by Leanne Schwartz. And I mean, this had me within like the first few words. It says plain, poor, plus size, and autistic. Love that. I think there's also some kind of like feminist aspect to this, because our main character is like trying to convince the town that she's too useful to be sacrificed to a monster. Sounds interesting. I'm also pretty sure this one has a sexual rep. Then we have Wrong Answers Only by Tobias Madden, which is a young adult contemporary. So this guy goes on a cruise ship for reasons, and while he's there, his best friend is like, time to shake things up, do something wrong, because our main character is always doing the right thing no matter what, and now it's time to like let loose a little bit, you know, let your hair down, have some fun. So this could be interesting. For sure. Then we have Hearts Still Beating by Brooke Archer. So this is a YA fantasy romance. So this is a dark and immersive post-apocalyptic book about two teen girls who loved each other before the end of the world. And before one of them became infected, she got turned into a monster. Could be very interesting, that's for sure. But it does say perfect for fans of Crystal Sutherland and Adam Silvera, which I am a fan of both of them, so that could be good. Then we have The Last Boyfriend's Rules for Revenge by Matthew Hubbard. This is a very cute cover as well. So this is a YA contemporary, very much a coming of age novel. So it's about these three queer teen boys who kind of form this club to get back at their ex-boyfriends, which sounds so much fun. And it seems to start a student rebellion for some reason. Ooh, okay, so the ending of this synopsis says our main character realizes that this rebellion is about something more than just revenge. It's a battle cry to fight back against outdated opinions and redefine what it means to be queer in a small town. So it sounds like this could be really powerful. So that was all for April, and now we're on to May. First, we have The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This cover, stunning. It's so pretty. It gives the best, like, cozy vibes. So this is a adult fantasy romance, and it's about this witch who is cursed to never be in love, and then this woman comes to her island, and this woman doesn't believe in magic at all, and they fall in love. It sounds very, very sweet. Oh. And says, this is a deliciously sweet debut novel of magic, hope, and love overcoming all. Then we have You Seen This Girl by Nita Tyndall. So a YA thriller following a non-binary teen investigator who is investigating a series of copycat murders targeting girls in their small town. Murders based on their serial killer dad's motive operandis. Yes, what is this about, like, serial killer fathers in 2024? Then we have Second Night Stand by Corelia Stetz Waters and Faye Stetz Waters. This cover is so fun. I think it's adorable. But this is a adult romance, so it's about a burlesque performer and a professional ballerina who fall in love while they are competing for a reality TV show. Sounds like a great time. a great time. And we have Don't Be a Drag by Skye Quinlan. Again, this cover is good. So this is a YA contemporary about two rival drag kings competing for a crown and each other's hearts. I think this is going to be really good because drag kings, we definitely don't get enough representation for that, so I'm really looking forward to this. It could be a really good time. Then we have Cubs and Campfires by Dylan Drakes. So I heard about this one on Instagram and there's nothing on Goodreads just yet. Okay, so I don't know much about Cubs and Campfires, but it is a cozy male-male romance about camping, cuddles, and chunky men. That's what the author said. Which, yeah, that's really all we're getting, but it sounds very cute and wholesome, and I'm very excited for this. So that was all for May. Now we're getting into June. So first up we have Lockjaw by Matteo L. Carilli. So this is a YA horror. So it says, death is neither the beginning nor the end in this particular town. So we have a trans main character, which I love. And it says, Lockjaw is a small town ghost story where monsters living and dead haunt the streets, the homes, and the minds of the inhabitants. Sounds like it's going to be really creepy, but it sounds like it could be really fun. Then we have Take All of Us by Natalie Leaf. So this is another YA horror, and I love that this says that it is a unbury your gays horror. So that sounds fun. Kill all the straight people, save the gays. That sounds like a book I want to read. So it says this undead teen must find his boyfriend before he loses his mind and his body. So it seems like there is some kind of parasite that poisoned the water of this town, and people turned into zombie-esque people. And our main character also suffers from chronic migraines and seizures, like on top of being infected. That's good. Love to see some more like disability rep and like chronic pain rep in all these types of tropes. Like that's going to be really fun. Oh my god, the ending of this synopsis. What they don't know is that boyfriend is also looking for our main character, and he's determined to mercy kill him. That's gonna be good. Then we have Asking for a Friend by Riley Ronnie. So this is a middle grade contemporary. So I believe our main character is non-binary because they seem to be using they them pronouns. Love this. And it's about this young person who has severe social anxiety and can't really make friends. So they pretend to have some online, probably to like appease their mother. But then the mother throws a birthday party and she asks her child to invite their friends, those friends that they made up. So that sounds like it's just gonna be kind of sweet and cute. Then the kid has to figure out what to do, and hopefully I think they're gonna make some friends along the way. So that sounds like it's going to be very fun and very sweet, while also being a little hard-hitting. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Okay, so that was all for June, and now we'll get on to July. First up, we have Bury Your Gays by Chuck Tingle. So this is a adult horror. So it's about this screenwriter who has become very successful, but the producers of their show want him to kill off a gay character. So I don't really know how that's going to be a horror, but it's Chuck Tingle, I'll give it a go. Then we have At the End of the River Styx by Michelle Kulwicki. So this is a YA fantasy. So this is about reincarnation, which could be very interesting. Before he can be reborn, Zan has spent 499 years bound in a 500-year curse to process souls for the monstrous ferryman. And if he fails, he dies. And then this person from the living world, every time they go to sleep, death drags them to Zan. So then I think they fall in love and got to figure out what to do, because obviously Zan doesn't want to process that soul, but he also doesn't want to die. So this could be very interesting. It's an interesting concept that I haven't come across before, and like I love the River Styx. So it should be good. Next up is Time and Time Again by Chatham Greenfield. This I love. We have a plus size main character on the cover and someone with a cane on the cover as well. So love that. This is another YA book, and it's about someone stuck in a time loop. That could be fun. That could be very fun. Oh, everything is the same except for one day when a car crash sends our main character's crush into the time loop as well. That's That's very interesting. That could be very fun. I love things that like mess with time, so that sounds very fun. So then we have The Hades Calculus by Maria Ying. This cover is really good and it reminds me of Persephone Station or something. But this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, but with a cyberpunk flair to it. So that could be fun. And there are giant mechs. Love that. So I'm not going to read too much about this one, but it looks really good. For some reason it's not on like Goodreads or Storygraph yet, which is weird, but it's on Amazon. Oh, and it comes out on my birthday. That's cute. So that was all for July, and now on to August. So we have The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. So this is a adult sci-fi fantasy, and there's a zoo for magical creatures. There's a tragic phoenix heist. I think they then have to go and search for the phoenixes. Okay, so it's an epic fantasy backdrop with all of your favourite creatures. Dragons and unicorns and kelpies and krakens. That's fun. But it also has the effervescence of a cozy fantasy and a queer romance. I enjoyed that. That sounds very cute, very fun. It also says for fans of TJ Klune, which... the reigning champion of TJ Klune fan. Right here. Hi. Then we have Rules for Ghosting by Shelley J. Shaw. This is an adult fantasy. Ooh, okay, so there is the Jewish traditions and queer identity and friendship. Love that. So we have a main character who is a clairvoyant. So excited for that. And an anxious trans man who is drawn back into his messy Jewish family drama to confront literal ghosts. Sounds like my kind of thing. This is checking all of my boxes for my type of book. So I'm really excited for that one. So that was all I had for August, and now we're into September. So the first one for September is Celestial Monsters by Aidan Thomas, which is the second in the Sunbearer Trials duology. Ooh, it's just a duology. Love those. Have I read Sunbearer Trials? Not at the time of filming. I am planning on reading it this month, but I haven't read it yet. But it's Aidan Thomas. I have such a deep love for Cemetery Boys, so I want to read anything that Aidan Thomas puts out. Then we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. This is an adult fantasy. Cover is gorgeous, by the way. A shaft-tongued folklorist must pair up with her academic rival to solve their mentor's murder. That sounds so good. So good. Like a folklorist? So cool. And then one I am, oh my gosh, excited about that I didn't know was happening until I was researching for this video. How did I not know this was happening? But that is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, which is the second in the House in the Cerulean Sea series. But oh my god, I didn't know there was a sequel. I'm so excited. House in the Cerulean Sea is such a beautiful novel, and I'm so looking forward to it. But yeah, I think this one is focusing more on Arthur. Yeah, this is definitely Arthur's book. Which is cool, because I definitely wanted more Arthur in House in the Cerulean Sea. Oh my god, Arthur wants to adopt the kids at the orphanage. Oh my god. My heart is already bursting. This is going to be amazing. It also looks like it will be a bit darker than House in the Cerulean Sea, which does definitely have some dark undertones. If you look for it, it's there. But this sounds interesting. Ooh, and we have a new magical child. That's cool. Sal better still be a part of this. Sal was my favourite. I need some more of that sweet, precious child. Oh my god, Zoe, the island sprite, has a girlfriend? That's so cute. Love that. And of course, Linus is back as the love of Arthur's life. Can it be September already? Let's just skip the whole year so I can read this book. Please and thank you. So that was all for September, and I have one book that I know is being released in December, which is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is a good cover. This is a really good cover. I am here for this cover. This is a YA horror. Ooh, it's a psychological horror. Interesting. So there's also a little bit of dark academia vibes because we are at a Wickwood Academy, so some kind of pretentious school. So our main character's best friend and secret crush, I don't know if it's a secret crush, but it's a crush, this other boy starts acting really strange and draws these kind of very scary creatures, and then to find out what is happening to his friend, he follows his friend into the woods one night and finds that his friend is battling these monsters that he's been drawing. It says these monsters have come to life and are killing anyone close to him. So to make sure that those monsters don't hurt anyone he really cares for, he fights them every night. Scary. Ooh, but as their obsession with each other grows, so do the monsters. Interesting. So this does sound very dark and mysterious. It could be very interesting though. So those are all of the books that I have so far heard about that I am excited for in 2024. They're all queer, 'cause hi, and I thought it would be good to have this little kind of list of queer new releases. If you have heard of any more queer releases that are coming out in 2024, let me know. I'm always keen to read about queer books. But yeah, what are some books that you are looking forward to in 2024? Are any of these ones that I mentioned, are these ones that you're excited for? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.